I spent more than $15,000 on YouTube courses to see what actually matters. Now, really quick before we start, this is for the business sides of YouTube. We are optimizing for maximum profit, not creating with passion. We are here to see how to manage teams, systems like an actual true business that generates profit. We are here to identify gaps, capitalize on niches, etc., and rinse and repeat. So I would start by saying that the very first thing that I learned and that actually makes sense is trust score, okay? And you should be careful about that because I did the mistake when I was at the early stage of my YouTube career, when I thought that trust score is just a made up thing for that people made up to sell courses, okay? But it comes down that it's actually pretty true. And here's how I learned about it. So trust score is an actual thing and vital for early success as a channel. So here you can see a screenshot of two channels that basically have the same exact video, but it performed way different on both of them. So this video was not like in the niche that we are running into. This video was actually a test to see how the trust score looks on the channel. And you can see that on one channel we have 1 impression and on the second one we have 1.2k impressions. And that plays a massive role, trust me. Second thing I would say is that age channels, new channels, it comes down to basically how YouTube trusts you, because an age channel means that you have given more data to YouTube to trust you more. But we have also seen the cases of new channels popping up, and lately I've seen many new channels actually perform way better than old channels, and I will discuss it later on. Now, the third thing that I would say is the most important out of all of them for trust score would be Gmail trust score. Because as we know, YouTube is owned by Google. So that would mean that the actual Gmail plays a huge role, and I would say a much bigger role than the YouTube channel itself. So you should act like a true person on that Gmail, if it makes sense. Like you should have signups on Facebook, Snapchat, buy something on that email so it comes like a confirmation on here, and so that Gmail actually scans you and understands that you are a person and not a bot trying to infiltrate the platform. And the fourth thing would be testing trust scores to see if the channel is worth trying, like I said here. So that channel, obviously we didn't start in that channel, and we put that in the bin. And we moved on to this channel, which has a pretty good trust score. And to be honest, this first or the second video in the niche popped off. So you can see how this works, okay? And then we would move on to proxies and anti-detect. So proxies are a must for running YouTube as a business. And proxies also have trust scores. And the right choice of proxy provider is vital. So let me start by saying that if you are viewing YouTube as a true and actual business like we are doing, you should know that proxies are a must. And the reason for that is because if you are scaling like 10, 20, 30 channels, you can't have them all on one IP, because if one gets demonetized or one gets terminated, your whole list of channels also gets terminated. So that is actually pretty bad if it happens, okay? I've been there before. I've lost 4 or 5 channels like this, so you don't want to be there at all. That was in the early days though. I would say then that that proxies also have trust scores. Now this is something that not many people discuss, and that means that there are many proxy providers, right? But only some of them have good trust scores, so that YouTube actually scans the IP itself and sees if it's worth or if it's botted or if it's a fraud proxy. So I would say some good proxy providers are Tube Proxies, which is proxies made especially for running YouTube as a business like we do, Webshare, and Doxylabs. These are my main 3. I like this the most, but you can also try out some different ones. And then I also told you the risk of losing your business if one channel gets demonetized. Then we move on to the age channels versus new channels. Both have their own pros and cons because, like I told you before, you can have a niche channel based on the trust you have built on Google, but new channels are also working. Best setup, in my opinion, is creating a second channel on a niche. And what I mean by that is that you can have a niche channel that was created in 2014, for example, and you can go on YouTube and create a new channel on that same exact email. So I have found out from my own experience that by doing that, you're actually kind of showing that you are new to YouTube, but you have experience in Google. Does it make sense? So Google scans your information and sees that you have interacted in the platform before, but the new channel gives you more of a verified look on Google's eyes that you are here to stay and you can run channels pretty good with pretty good trust scores. Then where I buy my profiles and my channels is hprofiles.com, which is a pretty good provider, and smmshiba.com. And you can see here that you have many options where to buy. You have 8 YouTube accounts from 2006, 2009 with videos. You have 2010 YouTube accounts with advanced features, and so on. Then we would move on to what matters the most for YouTube is the niche selection. Because remember, if you are running YouTube in a niche that doesn't pay enough or is oversaturated, to be honest, then you're not gonna make any success and you're probably not gonna see any money. So what I like to do when finding out niches is that I like targeting 65 plus year olds audience. So what that means is that 65-year-olds have some basic interests. That would be planes, knives, military. We have seen that with World War II blow up. That would also be storytelling in general, okay? And the reasons why, they expect less quality so videos can be made faster. And because they are old, they don't know things about editing, right? They just want to see a video and you can see one video that's 1 hour long with like 5 photos. But you don't want to be doing that because you will get hit with inauthentic. But you get my point that they don't expect much. So by not expecting much, we are also able to make videos a lot faster and scale a lot faster. Their attention span isn't cooked. So that's a very good thing because as Gen Z, like 20 to 30-year-olds, our attention span is kind of cooked from YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So we can't pay a lot of attention on a 1 hour video like they do. So we can do longer videos and we can get extremely high RPM. The third thing is that they have extremely high RPM because they have buying power. So when getting into a niche, you should also think about the buying power of that audience because in YouTube, we make money from the ads, and the ads typically pay more on people that have buying power. And that, in most cases, are old people that take their pension and don't work anymore, so they have money to spend on whatever appears on the screen. They are easier to make them click because, again, like I told you before, they don't expect much, okay? You can clickbait them and they will fall for it. Like, if you see a clickbait video, you will probably think twice about clicking on it to not give your view. Your view is valuable. To them, their view is not that valuable. And here is an example that we have also seen on the YouTube space before. This guy was talking about America's mansions, making 1 hour videos, 1.5 hour videos, and getting some crazy results, okay? And here is another channel I found, which is fully AI, and he's just showing cutting wood and making things out of wood. And you can see the results here, 9.9 million views in 2 months, 200,000 and so on. And that moves us to the next part, which is hiring a good team to launch fast. Now, I can't tell you how much a good team actually means to running a good YouTube operation, because you can be doing YouTube as a scale running a solo business. You can do it for like first 5 to even 10k, but I would say that it's very, very much better to have a team to launch fast. So I would say hire from Philippines because they are very hardworking. Like, you can get an editor for like 200 a month. You can find the editors on Upwork, onlyjobs.ph, Discord servers, and you will basically need VAs for script writing, editing, thumbnails for start of operation. So these are your main ones. And as you scale, you can also hire some other VAs to do as minimal work as possible. Eventually, you will also hire people to ideate for you. But for now, your only skill should be, and your only focus should be ideating. And here is actually a conversation I had with one editor where I closed them for $80 per month. Isn't that crazy? Like $80 per month for a whole channel. There are unlimited opportunities with scaling and hiring a team. So I would say that you must really pay attention to this and not make the mistakes that many have made. And also, I have made the mistake of running YouTube as a business solo, and that capped me at my time. That capped my scaling abilities and so on. And I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest, if I was starting from zero again. Now, the other thing, and probably the last thing, is the important use of AI. And Claude by far is the best for most tasks, like script writing, analyzing, strategies. But strategies shouldn't be that much depending on AI, because YouTube is not something that stays stagnant. It always evolves, and you should be the one to identify the patterns and the strategies. So for voiceovers, I would take Eleven Labs and Gen AI, and for image generations, I would take Google Flow, which costs like $20, so it's nothing. And on Gen AI, actually, 1 million credits costs $22, which is also nothing. And yeah, I would say that that's pretty much it. That you should take from this the two main things, okay? One is the proxies, so YouTube can track you. And the second thing would be targeting older audience. I can't tell you how much important that is. Yeah, I would say this is it for this video. Now, I would say that you should take advantage of that free info. I paid for it, and you should take advantage of it. And also link in the description to see how I can help you scale your own YouTube channel. Bye bye.